Hi everyone, we're back to read chapter 4 of All About Sam today. Chapter 4. Sam, I do wish you would be trained, his mother said one day as she was changing his diaper. No, said Sam. He said it very sweetly and smiled. He didn't know what she meant, but he said no anyway. Sam liked saying no. It was an easier word to say than yes, and it always had a more interesting effect. When he said no, people sighed and frowned and scrunched up their faces. Sometimes his sister, Anastasia, got so mad that she shrieked when Sam said no. Once, when Anastasia was getting Sam dressed for bed, she asked him, "Do you want to wear these pajamas, Sam, the ones with teddy bears on them?" She held them up. "No," said Sam. "Well," said Anastasia, "how about these, the ones with elephants?" "No," said Sam. Anastasia sighed and frowned and scrunched her face up. Soon, Sam knew, she would shriek. He waited happily for that. His sister got another pair of pajamas. "These then," she said, "the blue ones with the hole in the foot." "No," Sam said loudly. Then she shrieked, "Mom, Sam says no to everything!" His mother was scrubbing the bathtub and picking up all the boats that Sam had been sailing during his bath. "Of course he does," she told Anastasia. "He's in the middle of the terrible twos." Sam looked around himself with interest. He didn't see Terrible Twos anyplace. He was in the middle of the room, standing there wearing his Pampers. He didn't know what his mother was talking about half the time. He was in the middle of the apartment. He was in the middle of the rug. Soon he would be in the middle of his crib. How could he be in the middle of the Terrible Twos? If there were Terrible Twos around, he couldn't see them. Later that night, wearing his pajamas with teddy bears, after his light was out, he peeked out from under the covers to see if the Terrible Twos were out there. They sounded scary. They weren't anywhere around, and he was quite certain his mother had been wrong, but he put his pillow over his head just in case. "If you would be trained," his mother said, buttoning his overalls, "you would be a big boy. You could dress yourself. You would never be wet. You wouldn't have to have that dumb box of Pampers." Sam thought about that after he scampered away to play with his blocks. He liked that box of Pampers. He could stand on it and reach things. There was a lot of interesting stuff in Anastasia's room on her desk. Crayons, and some chewing gum, and a deck of cards with K's and Q's, and a brand new goldfish, Frank II, in a bowl. Sam planned to drag his Pampers box into Anastasia's room someday soon, when no one was looking, and stand on it and reach the top of her desk. He would do his father's desk too, because his father had a typewriter, and Sam liked to type stuff. So it made no sense to Sam at all when his mother said that about not having to have the box of Pampers anymore. He needed that big box of Pampers. Still, he was fascinated by the idea of being trained. Sam knew about trains. He had books about trains. His favorite was The Little Engine That Could. Sometimes he made Mom read it to him 2 times before he went to sleep. "I think I can, I think I can, I think I can," he and his mom would say together. Then, "I thought I could, I thought I could." Sam loved that part best. So he liked the idea of being trained himself. He stopped saying no when his mother sighed and said, "I wish you would be trained, Sam." He began saying, "Maybe." He began saying chugga 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 when he walked down the hall of the apartment. He was practicing being trained. One day, his mom came home from shopping. Sam was playing on the living room floor while his father watched a baseball game on TV. His father was supposed to be watching Sam. Before she left, his mother had said, "Myron, will you watch Sam while I do the shopping?" And his father had said, "Sure." But he hadn't really watched Sam at all. He watched a baseball game instead. When his mom came home, she said, "Sam, I brought you a present." "Animal crackers?" Sam asked. Often, she brought him a little box of animal crackers. "Nope," his mother said. She reached into the bag she was holding and pulled out a little package. "Look, I brought you training pants." Sam took the little package and looked at it with interest. Training pants? He hadn't even known that trained people wore special pants. Maybe he hadn't looked carefully enough at his favorite book. He ran to get The Little Engine That Could. He sat down on the floor and turned the pages to look at the pictures again. The train didn't wear pants. The engineer wore pants, but they weren't white like the pants his mother had bought for him. The train engineer wore a special hat, though. It was striped, blue and white. He wore it on every page except the last, because on the last page, the engineer's hat flew off right into the air when the train said, "I thought I could." Sam trotted back to the living room where his dad was still watching baseball. I want a training hat, Sam said. Ask your mom, Dad said. She's in the kitchen. Sam picked up the little package of training pants and went to the kitchen. I don't want these, he said. I want a training hat. His mother sighed. Look, Sam, she said. Carefully, she opened up the package. She took out 3 pairs of pants. See? They're just like Daddy's. Sam looked. They were just like Daddy's, only smaller. Sometimes, while Sam watched, his daddy stood in the bathroom and shaved carefully around his beard. Sometimes his daddy wore training pants while he was shaving. Sometimes his daddy walked down the hall to his bedroom wearing training pants, but he never said, chugga, chugga, chugga. Don't you want to be like Daddy? His mother asked. Sam thought about that. He didn't want to have a beard, especially. He didn't want to watch baseball on TV. He loved his daddy, but he didn't want to be like his daddy, especially. He wanted to be like the train guy in the book and drive an engine and wear a blue and white striped hat. So Sam said no and gave the training pants back to his mother. She looked exasperated. Sam, she said, don't you want to be toilet trained? Toilet trained? What did that mean? That was the weirdest thing he had ever heard. He wouldn't mind being freight trained. He wouldn't mind being passenger trained. He would love being circus trained, like the train in his favorite book. But toilet trained? No, said Sam loudly. No, 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 no. And his mother began to shriek just the way Anastasia did. I can't stand the terrible twos, his mother shrieked. Sam looked around, but the mysterious terrible twos were still invisible. I thought I could, I thought I could, I thought I could, Sam sang as he chugga-chugged down the hall.